Why is this stuff a big deal? Well, a military is not the government. The military is made up of the personnel, of the men and women who join the military, who join in and fight it. What kind of military do you have? It's determined by the kind of personnel you bring in. If you're in the military, the kind of personnel you want to bring in, smart, type A, especially if we're talking infantry, you need type A males. That's what you need. So I'm talking hard charging, high testosterone. Let's get it done. That's who you need. You must have those people filling up your military. Ambitious, aggressive, competitive. These are the people who build a great military. That's why all great militaries throughout history are built on competition and discipline and overcome. And that's how you win. Because when the shooting starts, you have to have that mentality filling up your ranks. I will win. I'd rather die than lose. That way of thinking must dominate your military. The reason this stuff is a big deal is because it destroys your personnel.
And I was able to deploy on the USS Gerald R. Ford last fall, and the coolest thing I did on board was to be able to participate in a LGBTQ spoken word night, and I was able to read a poem that I wrote to the whole ship, and that was probably the culmination of the whole deployment.
Do you know during Pearl Harbor, when our ships were being bombed by the Japanese, do you know what our sailors went through on those ships? They were burning alive. They were being wounded in horrific ways. Think about being engulfed by, you're standing on top of all that steel and all that fuel, and then bombs are blowing up, and the shrapnel from the bombs and the shrapnel from the ship. So you have guys losing their limbs, guys losing their heads. You have nothing but chaos and violence and explosions and insanity, and it's the most insane thing in the world. And did you know our sailors in Pearl Harbor were heroic? Not stopping, not crying, not running screaming, running around, helping, saving people. Get on the guns, shoot back, let's jump in the water, save that guy. Type A males, run around, get the job done. Those guys don't want to join the gay Navy. Those guys won't join LGBTQ night in the Navy to hear this guy read his gay poems. They simply won't join. It really doesn't matter what you think of that guy or that speech. The guys you need to join your military, Navy, Army, Marine Corps, Air Force, and so on, they're not joining. They're going to do other things. You need that high school football player in Wyoming. You need him to join the Army. You need him there. That wrestler. You know what? The hick in Tennessee who you make fun of his accent, even though I love Tennessee accents. Look at this guy. This sounds like a bumpkin. Yeah, that bumpkin's been shooting deer since he was 7 or 8 years old. That guy, you put him out in the wilderness, he'll build you a camp overnight. You need that guy in the Marines. And he's not going to join. He watches videos like this. He goes home, talks to his parents, and they tell him to go do something else. Oh, don't get me wrong. He'll be great somewhere. He'll go be a county sheriff somewhere, fireman somewhere. He'll go do something that type A males do, but he ain't joining your military. And if he doesn't join your military disappears. This stuff is a disaster for many reasons, but the biggest reason is simple recruitment. The guys you need, they're not coming. And the guys you need to stay in, who are in now, they're not staying. I've been corresponding with the lieutenant colonel in the Army quite a bit, and I won't go into the details of it, but are you going to be surprised when World War III kicks off? At some point it will, right? I'm not saying it's happening tomorrow, but at some point World War III will kick off. Everyone knows it. That's just kind of the way the world works. Are you going to be surprised when we run out of ammunition? You know, the military, they're not only running out of personnel. We have undermanned units all over the place in critical units, the infantry units. You got 1,000-man infantry unit, or it's supposed to be 1,000. They got 800. They don't have enough bodies to stack them or to staff them, and we don't have enough ammunition. That's something we don't consider because, again, we think back to older times. We think back to anything from Vietnam to the global war on terror to what we really think about is World War II. And we just think about how America just turned into this machine where we're just churning out tanks and planes and bullets. And that's what we were. But we're not that anymore. We're going to run out of ammo. Did you know that? It's a reality of life. And we have all these criminally unserious people in charge of the country.
The President looks forward to having another conversation with President Xi. And we'll do that at the appropriate time, and we'll certainly keep you apprised of that. It's important that those lines of communication stay open. The tensions are certainly high right now. We'd like to see this relationship get onto a better footing. And when it's appropriate for the two leaders to talk, then that'll happen. I want to stress, that said, that we are and have been able to maintain lines of communication between our two countries, even throughout all these tensions.
The dumbest people, the most craven people, they're running things now. And so you don't have a military focused on doing basics like, I don't know, securing ammunition. Now, granted, I'm glad you're having gay night on the Navy. I'm glad everyone's having to attend seminars to learn how to braid hair. These are very, very important things, but we don't have enough ammunition to fight a war.